Howdy! How do you do? It's a Monday. It's a special day right here, first day. I know I've been gone for a little while. But did you think I would miss the day? Oh, no, sirree. And why was I doing that little dance? I recall sometime approximately a year ago where this former Cowboy, this Hall of Famer, this 3-time Super Bowl champion. Remember that dance he was doing in Dallas? Remember that?
Yes.
Ain't working this morning, is it? Quite miserable you Dallas Cowboy fans are right now. But guess what? You deserve it. The next 2 hours will probably be the most miserable 2 hours of your life. But not mine! Not mine! I would tell you you're gonna be all right today.
Mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys on way? Somehow, when it counts, just wait. They will let you down. The accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident, waiting to happen. It will happen. I'm predicting they're gonna be irrelevant. I'm predicting an absolute embarrassment for the last decade and a half. They make me laugh. All the talent that they have is unbelievable, man. Big D, teasing you. This is what they do. Walking through, we show up on cue. Accident, something will go wrong. The accident of the big Jumbotron. Accident, gotta recognize it's a black cat running around that franchise. Say it with me. Accident, they will mess it up. Just wait. The accident, they will let you down. Just wait. The accident. Waiting to happen. It will happen. How about the Cowboys?
Oh boy, is it good to be back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take on MLK Day as we honor the legacy of the great Martin Luther King Jr. The crew is back in the building. The playmaker, the Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin, so good to see you, sir. He's not making eye contact even with me, so you know it's bad. Hi, Stephen A.
First of all, it's lovely to see you.
You too.
Michael Irvin, I must say to you, my brother, I have never been more happy to see you in my life. I just want to say that. I have never been more happy to see you in my life. And I love you. I love being around you. But never more than today.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I'm happy.
Right.
I'm happy you're healthy and you're here and everything's going well.
It,
Yeah. All right, let's do
Boy,
this.
But
the spirit that you are in
that won't help.
not good for me.
I won't help you.
Listen, I'm a Giants fan, and I felt bad for your squad. Let's go. The Niners upset the Cowboys in Dallas, led by their strong rushing attack of Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are up to 11 straight playoff appearances without reaching the conference championship. That's the longest streak all time, and it wasn't pretty. Dallas committed 14 penalties for 89 yards, tying a franchise playoff record. This team also led the league with 127 penalties, lack of discipline all over the place. But all the talk was that final play. Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, both defending the quarterback draw call. Prescott thought he had a chance for the final throw to the end zone, while Coach Mike McCarthy thought there would be a review from the NFL's New York office. Here's what Jerry Jones thought.
Extraordinarily disappointing. Very disappointing. I'm disappointed for our fans. They deserved us to win this game tonight, and they deserved us to go farther. So it was quite a letdown. And we've got good players in there, really good players. I would like to say that when I look at the year, I feel one way. But the year, a big part of it, when you got a team like this, is winning tonight, and we didn't get it done. That's big time disappointing.
All right, playmaker, here's the deal. Stephen A. might have his champagne and his Cuban, but I'm unbiased here. So in all seriousness, who is the most to blame for the Cowboys' early exit?
I'm sorry. I can't wait to hear your answer.
Let me
Dead clock's right twice a day.
we're going to talk a lot about today Mike McCarthy and all the decisions he makes and everything.
Right.
But the reality is, man, the players play the game.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You step on the football field and you play the game. And every game before I took the football field, every game before we took the football field, Emmett and I sat in the tunnel right before we took the field, and we made this little pact. We will touch our heart, touch each other, and say, it's up to us. We got to do it. It's double trouble. The stars have to show up, or you have no chance at winning a game. I can't expect Schultz to win a game for me. I can't expect Cedric Wilson to win a game for me. Noah Brown to win a game for me. I need Dak Prescott to show up. I need Ezekiel Elliott to show up. I need C.D. Lamb to show up. I need Tony Pollard to show up. Dak, 254 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, 69 passer rating. Zeke, 31 rushing yards. Tony Pollard had 14 rushing yards. And C.D. Lamb had 1 reception for 21 yards. If your stars don't show up, you don't have a chance. And those guys did not show up in that big moment. We could talk all this other stuff. The reality is those guys did not make the plays, and certainly didn't make enough plays. That defense did enough. You know, I was so worried, and I talked about this early in the season, the physicalness of San Francisco. But the defense did enough. They held them 23 points. You got to come up and make plays on offense, and the offense did not do that. This blame goes on Dak and the stars on that offense that did not show up in that big game yesterday. And Tyron Smith, the offensive line, too, because they got beat on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Finish.
Okay, so you're blaming the stars.
She asked me a question, I answered the question, man. I'm not
Irvin
finna sit here and play this with you. She asked me who's the most blamed for that loss. I'm telling you who's the most blamed. Those stars of the Dallas Cowboys offense did not show up in that game, and that's why they are sitting home today.
Couple of nuggets of bad news I want to give you just to start off the show. Number one, and I'll explain later on in the show what I've endured over the last month or so. Doctor told me to monitor my voice, energy, lungs, all that stuff. I ain't listening to that today. That's number one.
This is
number
amazing.
Number two, you know, it's interesting that you brought up you and Emmett because y'all are Super Bowl champions. Over the last 27 years, the Dallas Cowboys have been in the playoffs 11 times. They've never even been in the NFC Championship game. So let's get that out the way. Now, as we sit here and we reflect, and I'm trying to keep my cool, Doc. I know you watching. I'm trying to keep my cool, but I ain't doing it today. You ain't getting away with this, okay? Molly, we had a bet. This never, in the history of betting, has this ever happened.
Okay.
Michael Irvin bet me that the Dallas Cowboys was going to be so fly and so fine.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that if the Dallas Cowboys or when the Dallas Cowboys went to the Super Bowl and won it, I would have to dress in a Cowboys apron and clean his house.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the interesting part about that bet.
Yeah.
Do you know that there was no reciprocation? I didn't even ask, what do I get if I win?
Ooh, praise God.
All I wanted in return is for that brother to be sitting right there today. I told y'all. I told my man Dan Orlovsky. I told Michael Irvin. I told Ryan Clark. I told Jeff Sack. I told everybody. All the football experts, all the aficionados. I'm the one who said they won't even win a playoff game. I'm the one who said, take your time. Just wait. Be patient. They gonna screw up. So what happens yesterday? Let's get into the football analysis. I'm not the aficionado. Y'all are. I never play football. I just watched.
I'm glad you feel redeemed and vindicated today.
Oh, no. I'm just getting started.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting started. I just watched a report of the game. Let me, with my novice self, count the ways. You talked about the defense. Weren't they getting running roughshod over by the San Francisco 49ers? Yeah. Wasn't Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel running the football effectively? I recall that. Okay, let's get into the Dallas Cowboys offense. Dak Prescott, with all that money, $75 million man for this one season. That brother completed 53% of his passes Excuse me, I ain't gonna bring up the names of inept quarterbacks who've completed about that percentage. We can go there. That's the easy part. How about the penalties on the offensive line? How about the defensive line getting 3 penalties in the fourth quarter? How about Randy Gregory hugging a dude like it's his girlfriend and stuff like that, acting like, what did I do? I got no penalties whatsoever. How about the fact that y'all couldn't do a damn thing when Jimmy G was trying to give the ball away? What did Mike Shanahan do the last 5 minutes of the game? He said, don't even throw the ball. I can't have you throw another interception to Antonio Brown. Don't even throw the football. Just hand the ball off and move the hell out the way, Jimmy G, because I don't trust you. This is what happened. So we get into a Dallas Cowboys team, right? And so Ezekiel Elliott, you give him the ball 12 times. You rush the football 21 times for the whole game. You got Kellen Moore. He interviewed by Jacksonville. He's a candidate potentially in Chicago and Minnesota. Nobody brought him up. Everybody's missing the fact that, again, what I say to you is, excuse me, defensively, what you gonna do? Every single place you turn, the Dallas Cowboys, the better team, collapse. And guess what? We don't even know if we could blame Mike McCarthy. You know why? Because we don't know who the hell in charge. Kellen Moore's running the plays. Did he consult with Mike McCarthy? Did Mike McCarthy approve this? Or did he say, I don't know what the hell, I know we should have snapped the ball. And then, finally, to just embarrass themselves, what does Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy do? They talk about the official. They talk about the umpire, Ramon George. They said, excuse me, we should have got the snap off. You didn't know the rule. You didn't know that you're supposed to hand him the football. You didn't know you ain't supposed to hand it to the center. You didn't know that you're supposed to give it to the official because the official has to spot the ball, not you. That's lack of preparation. Right. Every single layer, Molly, the last dance, Michael Irvin, Michael Jordan, what did he say? You got cats coming in here acting like they were rolling with us when we won the championship. You ain't do a damn thing yet. What we did. You just got here. You got to prove yourself. It's your fault just as much as it is everybody else because you anointed people who were not worthy just because they wear that star. You, right now, you are culpable just as much as anybody, and you know it, and you got to deal with it. And by the way, last thing, I'm going on Rich Eisen's show.
First of all,
I'm just getting started.
First of all, your last dance analogy isn't applicable here.
Yes, it is.
Because you're asking me to do something that Michael Jordan was doing in the locker room. So Michael Jordan, when he was checking those guys that were coming in.
I'm asking you not to anoint
but I'm not in the locker room, so that's not applicable here. If I was in the locker room, we're talking about something different. What I talked about.
Do I not have footage of you on the sideline?
I've been on the sideline. Oh, come on, man. To raise people up like that, you have to be in their mug every day. I can't be on the sideline every now and then and be able to get in their chest or in their head. That's a different thing. The analogy was not applicable here. I understand what you're trying to say.
I know what I'm saying.
I understand what you're trying to say as far as anointing people. And Michael Parsons, first of all, that's one of the only dudes on that team that I should be saying, the rest of them chunks maybe didn't earn it, but Michael Parsons earned it.
Not yesterday.
What, Mike Parsons got hurt yesterday, but he still stayed in the game.
Was he in the game?
Fought it out.
Was he Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa was out the game. Fred Warner led the game.
The problem was with the guys that I mentioned early on in the game, just early on in this segment. It's the stars of this football game. I needed Dak to carry that offense yesterday, and the defense did enough to hold down that great running game and that great play caller and Kyle Shanahan. Even though they stopped them, they moved the ball up and down the field, like you said. But they stopped them from getting in the end zone. They made it 3 points game, so you stayed close to the game. And Dak never turned the corner. That offense never turned the corner and came back and put points on the board to help that defense.
Do you realize you're praising a team whose quarterback went into the press conference and applauded the fans for throwing stuff at the refs?
Well,
all right, that's where I want to go now. Hold on.
That got to do with anything. What are we're talking about?
You're pathetic.
Okay.
Wait, come on, man. We're talking about football right here.
We have that Dak sound. Let's get that.
Let's bring this Dak sound.
Right,
Let's
so
break this down.
basically, Guys, the issue, as he mentioned, were the fans throwing debris post-game. So regarding that, Dak was first under the impression that fans were throwing things at his teammates. Then a reporter shed more light on that situation. Dak, talk to me.
Dak, what do you think about the fans throwing beer balls on the field there at the very end? You see that? I think one of them hit Tank Lawrence.
No, I didn't see that. It's sad. I mean, you're talking about a team. You're talking about men that come out each and every day of their lives and give everything to this sport, give everything to this game of football. Nobody wants to succeed more than we want to succeed. I understand fans and the word fan for fanatic. I get that, but to know everything that we put into this day in and day out, try our hardest. Nobody comes in the game wanting or expecting to lose, and for people to react that way when you're supposed to be a supporter and be with us through thick and thin, that's tough.
I think they were aiming at the referees.
Yeah, they were at the referees.
Well, shit, credit to them then.
That's what takes. That's what takes.
Yeah.
They weren't doing it.
Oh, credit to them.
Real talk by Dak Prescott.
So it's their fault.
Again,
It's their fault.
14
Their
penalties.
fault.
Oh, God.
Look who's here. My guy, Dan Orlovsky in the
Good to see
building.
you guys.
Good Stefan, get up. Great to see
Good
you.
to have you guys back.
Michael, I'll let you kick it off.
Crazy
Are
to
the
just sit up
Cowboys
here,
blaming
take
the refs
banging
too
up
much?
on me all day, man. Yes, yeah. Well, absolutely, they're blaming the ref too much. Saying anything about the refs is blaming the ref too much. But let me break down this.
Okay.
What we just saw with Dak right here. Like this is all emotions.
Yeah.
It's just all emotions. It's football emotions. This is what happens. We're asking people to stand up here in the raw emotions right after you just lost that game. And I know he has to be saying in his head, man, I didn't do what I needed to do out here. So now you got to go and stand out here and be a man, because if you don't show up, we're going to really roast you. So now you got to show up to this point. You got to answer that question. I can imagine after losing that game, you're running in and you're in Dallas. Dallas fans, and you see all this stuff throwing, and you think that's about you, that would bring about some raw emotions. And Dak shared that really hurt. And he said it in a way. He didn't demean the people. He just said he shared his emotions that hurt him. Then when they flipped it and said, "Oh, that was rough," I thought it was interesting. He didn't even crack a smile, and then he said, "Oh, okay, I'll commend them on that." You know. Now, outside of telling people it's okay to throw stuff at refs, because that's not okay. It's not okay to throw anything at anybody in a game like that. You know, he's looking for reasons too. They lost the game and he's hurt. I don't think that's much that we should even be talking about right there, to tell you.
All right, so you think it's much ado about nothing.
It's nothing.
Dan, where are you on
That's
this?
nothing.
I think they're blaming. Yeah, I think the Cowboys are blaming the officials way too much. I agree with Playmaker though. I've become.
And he talks about the officials too much.
Right, but Dak has handled so many situations well that he's built up the ability to not be
has the
ideal.
equity, for sure.
He's handled them really well. If you're the Cowboys though, there's a lot of blame that can go around, but I think it has to start at the head coach and it has to start at the quarterback. The reality is this football team under Mike McCarthy, outside with Dak Prescott as their starting quarterback, outside of the NFC East is 6-9. They're a 6-9 football team with Dak as the starter outside of the worst division in football. They're 18-15 under Mike McCarthy. That's not good enough. Challenges, or he calls timeout and doesn't have the opportunity to challenge. So if we want to blame anybody, plenty of blame could fall on Mike McCarthy. And then Dak Prescott. There's 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that make $40 million a year. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Dak Prescott. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes each had over 400 yards of offense this weekend. Dak Prescott wasn't good enough this weekend. He wasn't the singular reason why their football team lost this game, but he wasn't a reason why they overcome it. The truth is, this should have been a beatdown. The 49ers should beat the Cowboys down. They just kicked field goals. That's the only reason they stayed in the football game. $100 million receiver didn't show up. Amari didn't show up. CeeDee Lamb didn't show up. The $90 million back didn't show up. The $140 million.
And you have no chance when the stars don't show up. You can't expect the supporters to turn around and be the stars and then ask the stars to be the supporter. That is a disorder that brings about a dysfunction. That's why that team loses.
14 penalties. 14 penalties, 8 of them.
Come on. It was hard to watch the game with all the penalties.
8 of them either gave San Francisco a first down or took a first down away from the Dallas Cowboys. That's all self-inflicted stuff.
Appreciate the expertise.
Thank you.
Appreciate the expertise.
Thank you, Stephen A.
Too technical. Because they're the Cowboys. They're not worth it. They're not worth it.
It's always worth it.
Everything technically could have went right. They still would have lost.
They said, because they're the Cowboys. Let's understand something here. Let's understand something here. Let's just break this down. You didn't bring this up. You didn't bring this up. I'll bring this up. But y'all going to go like this.
All right.
Do you know what happened yesterday? Dak Prescott showed you why Jerry Jones so desperately wanted Tony Romo to stick around. Tony Romo, who's been retired for years. Remember when Dak Prescott came into the league as fourth-round pick? Remember when he was wreaking havoc and Jerry Jones was still holding out that Tony Romo would get healthy and stick around? Because as we're listening to Tony Romo call that game yesterday, and he's breaking down what stuff needs to be done, you're reminded of how smart he was. He's a gunslinger, and he made some mistakes, but it was risk. It wasn't like he was an idiot. It wasn't like he was devoid of. Listen, I'm not calling anybody an idiot. Please don't get me wrong.
No, I know.
Right.
What I'm saying is that Tony Romo is an element that I want to go
You're saying
to.
Tony Romo wouldn't have done that?
No, here's my pushback to that, because I know you got other points.
I'm
But
talking about.
I want to hear.
Here's my pushback to
about
that.
knowing that you got to get the ball to the umpire as opposed.
Yeah, but
listen,
I like ragging on the Cowboys as much as anybody. You just went on a rant saying they've been in the playoffs 11 out of the last 27 years, and they haven't been in the NFC.
He's a part of that. He's a part of
So
that.
to assume that Tony would have done that.
No, I didn't say. I'm not assuming that Tony Romo would have won.
So why do you think Jerry's sitting back on it? Why wish I had Tony?
Because what I'm saying to you is that when you look, first of all, you yourself have sat here and talked about how Tony Romo put up some decent numbers.
Oh, he was a baller.
Okay, and he was a baller. You look at Dak Prescott, completed 53% of his passes. It was one of the most atrocious. It was the most atrocious performance of his postseason career. By the way, now a 1-3 postseason record. Let's not forget that. Now let's count the ways. I want you to take this into perspective. So we got a problem with the running game. We got a problem with the offensive line and their penalties. We got a problem with the quarterback. We got a problem with the wide receivers. We got a problem with the 3 penalties the defensive line picked up in the fourth quarter. Okay? We got a problem with the play caller, the offensive coordinator. We got a problem. And for what? Because I was watching Dominique Foxworth on Get Up earlier this morning. He made a very astute point when he talked about it was one of the rare occasions that clock management wasn't an issue you could kill Mike McCarthy about. Right. Because he actually did a decent job yesterday. Except at the end of the game, we didn't know who the hell was calling the play.
No, the fake punt situation was bad too.
The fake punt situation is bad too.
Poorly executed, not necessarily poorly called, but poorly executed.
By the way, and then on top of all of that, who assembled the squad? Who picked the head coach? Who kept the offensive coordinator? Who's got this guy thinking he the next Jason Garrett, where he gonna be the coach that's inserted and he gonna get a 10-year deal because your love affair with him, Jerry Jones? What I'm saying is, I'm giving you multiple layers from top to bottom where finger point could take place. And the only reason I'm being kind to Jerry today is because you know he climbing up there in age and you know it's affected him, these losses. So I'm concerned about Jerry Jones. I want him to be healthy. I want him to stick around for a long time.
Just right quick, though, let me say this to you, Dan. You know, I know as you give out Mike McCarthy record, let's just be mindful that Mike McCarthy came in under different circumstances. We were just starting to deal with COVID in that first year. It's a whole different thing. I'm just saying. So I'm just I'm staying facts.
Yeah.
I'm just staying facts. Isn't that reality? Yeah. He came in and he brought in a defense coach, had changed defense. He was going to lose. He lost a lot of those games. Right. That's just a fair point to lay on the reality.
I'm just saying, if we're going to
I'm certainly not making excuses for Mike McCarthy. Okay. I'm just laying facts out on the reality. Those calls. I sat right here and said, don't tell me about all those calls early on because we were lighting up the scoreboard. Right. And they were winning games anyway. But now those calls, but now you're not lighting them up. So yes, all those calls come into play. But all in all, I need soldiers to stand up and be soldiers. Yeah. That's just the bottom line. Right. You got no shot. You can look around this National Football League, and every team that won and moved on, they're soldiers. Their stars stood up like stars. Dallas Stars did not stand up when it was time to stand up. You can't win that way.
They never have in the postseason since you retired. So my question to you is this. Why did you invite Dallas Cowboy fans to get non-refundable tickets to the SoFi in L.A.? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that for? Why did you cause? I'm just saying this. Are you going to sit there and look at the camera and talk to Cowboy fans? I'm sorry for costing y'all all that money. You know what I'm saying? You were the one that believed in them. What you do it for?
I may have
Ain't you the
caused them some
playmaker?
travel
Ain't you the
plans,
playmaker?
But my major is BMO, Business Management and Organization. I did not cost them any money because
my
if they
major.
collected that asset I was telling them about, oh, they can go resell it and make a profit.
you not
so
a-
I'm just
are
telling
you-
you, I didn't cost you any money. I helped you make some profit.
Dan,
Let's
I'll
get
ask
back
you
to the
a question.
business.
I get this question.
Yeah.
How do you explain the fact that I never played football? And I'm debating a three-time Super
Don't
Bowl
start all
champion,
this,
Hall of
man. Don't
Famer.
start all
and I
this,
did
man.
a better job of evaluating the
You
Cowboys.
ain't do
than
no
he did.
better
I
job
told
at
you.
evaluating
I
anything,
told
man.
you.
Get on
I
out there.
told
I gave you.
Yes.
You ain't do no better.
Listen, how
All
do you
you
explain that?
did
Listen, I
was
got-
count on
I had a
something
situation.
going wrong.
I had a situation with one of my good buddies, Dave Phelps. We got into an argument when Carson Wentz played like junk last
That's
weekend,
right.
and I told him, "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't play football." He didn't take too kindly of that, so
Right.
I'm not going to answer that question. But
And by the way,
no.
you two, I haven't forgot about you with Carson Wentz and Matthew Stafford.
We haven't talked about that.
We'll get to
We're
you
not-
later.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
got three kind of points.
Sure.
First of all, I think today and what transpired yesterday, Marcus Spears' word, is proof that there's a God and a devil. Because there's no way that there isn't. The fact that you were out for a couple weeks,
Boy, God
and
is
the day
something.
you're back,
Boy, hey, listen,
the
man.
Cowboys all of a sudden lose. That is proof that there is evil in the world.
It's not evil.
Here's my thing with the stars.
I'm an angel.
Here-
I'm an angel.
Here's my thing with the stars, because
What's your definition?
and you know this. The reality is, in that business, in that world, someone's got to pay for the way that game ended, right? Whether you like it, I'm not proclaiming that, but that's just the business of the NFL. You're not getting rid of the stars, though. Like, Dak is there.
and
Amari's
with
there.
this. I'm
Zeke
with
is
this.
more than, like, the players are there. So
So
that's my
who's
point.
paying? The coach? You think he's gone?
I think so. I think it's hard to bring him back, given, again, all the things I laid out with the clock management this year, the fact that they look unbelievably unprepared in those situations yesterday and to the end of the game, and they're 6-9 outside of the division with Dak and Mike McCarthy. Like, if you have to ask yourself this, and I would challenge Cowboys fans to ask themselves this: who do you think did a better job coaching this year in the circle of their situation? A guy like Brian Flores, or a guy like David Culley, or Mike McCarthy?
Brian Flores.
What about
Did a
David
better
Culley?
job.
Given the circumstances that they were in.
Yeah.
I still say Brian. I still say
And
Brian
David,
Flores.
but
What
David
about David Culley?
David Culley sat right in the middle of a Category
And did a-
5 hurricane
and did a good job.
calmed
He
that
got
thing
jobs.
down.
Right?
It was
So both of
right
those
in the
guys
middle
are
of
on
a
the
Category
jobs.
5
Yeah,
hurricane.
I
You know
know.
what I'm
I know.
saying?
So he got jobs.
Whoa. They were competitive.
Yeah.
The Houston. Time out.
They never stopped playing hard.
Let me hear my point. They were competitive, but the Houston Texans were not very good as expected. In Brian Flores' case, with a limited quarterback in Tua, that brother went on a 6-7 game winning streak.
Right.
They ended up with a winning record.
But both of them on the jobs.
I understand.
But he also
did a better
captained a
job.
7-game
I'm saying
losing
Brian
streak.
Flores.
Well, I'm saying both of those guys
He
in
also
comparison-
captained a 7-game losing streak. Don't just give him the ups without talking
He had a better
downs.
record. He had a better record than David Culley.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right,
But he
I'm
had better
saying David
circumstances than David Culley,
was
too.
never
He had
in
much
a
better
position to
circumstances than
succeed.
David
Here's
Culley.
what we
could
know.
say that was a
They
wrong
all
deal.
did a better
Yeah.
job than Mike
Situation.
McCarthy.
That's all you got to
No,
do.
I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, let's leave it there.
Back to that.
Speaking of
I know.
gods, Tom Brady. Still ahead. Can Teflon Tom run it back with this Buck squad, or will another team threaten their Super Bowl chances?
Eyes off me, man.
Find out what the
Get your
fellas
eyes
think.
off me.
Get your eyes off me looking
I
like
know.
that.
Even though he's got some
Get
good
it
karma
done,
or
man.
something. I don't even
The one day you
understand
needed
it.
a flight to get canceled.
Unbelievable.
I almost called guy with COVID, but I said I just
Right
can't.
on
I can't do
time.
it again.
But I'm thinking about the fact that Chris Godwin is out.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown is not going to be there.
Yep.
The reliance on Rob Gronkowski is what it is, and you understand the chemistry that they have. But when you talk about Green Bay, Lambeau Field, when you talk about Arizona or Los Angeles, because they get the winner of that game tonight, and you think about what they can potentially bring to the table defensively to neutralize what Brady and them normally wants to do, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that, for me personally, could they do it? Sure, but I don't believe they will. I got Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. Let me get that out the way. And here's what I want to say, because I've been off, and I want to say this about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is a disgrace. I watched over the last several weeks, and I didn't have a chance to get this out. Let me be very, very clear. He has betrayed the organization. He has betrayed Tom Brady. Now, he could sit up there and clean up his comments about Brady over the last few days like he did all he wanted to. But after all Brady did for him in New England and then in Tampa, and you living in his home and him looking out for you and all of this other stuff, the game before he had his meltdown, he was targeted about 12 different damn times.
Yeah.
And then you looking for a bonus, and you act up because you're not getting targeted enough, and you want to get out the game, and then you're gonna go on some podcast. I forgot which one. I apologize. I ain't knocking the podcast at all. I forgot which one it was, but he's talking about Brady's my friend because of football, because of what I could do for him.
Yeah.
Everywhere you turn, he took shots in Pittsburgh at Roethlisberger. He took shots at Juju Smith-Schuster, who was a rookie on the come up, looking up to this dude as a mentor. He goes for 4 days. Does anybody understand the magnitude of that stupidity? I mean, are we going to really put it in perspective? Shut up, Dan. Shut up, Michael Irvin. Shut up, Molly. All you got to do is shut up for 5 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday morning, you guaranteed $29 million. And he couldn't do it. Nobody brings this stuff up. And I bring all of that up to say, I remember the Burfict hit years ago. Like my man Rodney Harrison pointed out, that might be, CT. We don't know what the hell's going on. But barring that, this dude has thrown people under the bus. He's betrayed trust. He talks smack about you, after supposedly being cool with you. Antonio Brown is fine until you need him. The second you need him, he abuses the privilege. And Tom Brady has had to work through all of that, which I think he could if Chris Godwin was healthy.
Yeah.
The fact that Godwin is out and Antonio Brown ain't there, and Green Bay looks the way that they do, with San Francisco being physical, with Kyler Murray in Arizona or Matthew Stafford in LA being those teams, I think it's asking entirely too much in this particular season because of all of those things taken into consideration. I do not believe that Tom Brady can lift the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Let me just say this real quick about AB. In his statement, he said that it was not a mental health issue. It was that he was forced to play hurt. So just to give his side of the story there.
Everybody's trying to be, they're forcing everybody to play hurt. That's the reality of the business we're in. Coach will tell you, hey, can you go, man? I don't know, coach. Just can you get out here and try it for us? So we get that every week, every game, and let me say this. I'm by no means a perfect man. By no means a perfect man. But the one thing that's dear to me is the game of football and how it's structured and how we owed each other what we owed each other. There's a commitment that we give each other when we step on the football field. We're going to give each other all we have. And if we can be there, we will be there no matter what. Loyalty to that process is everything to me. Troy stepped in for me at a low point. There's nothing you can ever do in your life to make me turn on him because of my loyalty to him, because he stepped in at a low point. That made my heart bleed when he went after Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple made my heart bleed. I had seen Tom earlier this year at the Hall of Fame. And I took a picture with him. I posted a picture. But what we were talking about at the back of the hall, in the back room at the Hall of Fame, was Antonio Brown. Yeah. And how much he loved Antonio Brown. And I was saying, man, I shared with him about me and Troy. I said, man, I appreciate you. I said, I'm always with you for that. I'm with, because that means something to me. Yeah. Made my heart bleed. Yeah. Man, but by the same token, when I saw it, I think I saw Tampa Bay's ring hopping and skipping off the field with it. When I saw that mess, I was like, wow, hopping and skipping off with it.
And doing jumping jacks. Let's not forget the jumping jacks.
But you're right. Brady covered for him so many times.
And all they talk about only because I play football. Dude, you were out of football.
That's right.
You were not playing football.
That's right.
And he was trying to pull you back in because, like if you're a pure football player, you need a hook to hold someone. No matter what's going on with them, what's the hook? The hook was football. And he was like, let me just get you back to the hook so we can get you back to a different place. So listen, I don't believe that they have an opportunity, that we'll get to a Super Bowl, only because of how Brady plays and what we saw yesterday. And we were just talking about that on that under route. That was Johnson coming across on the under route. On the under route, you know, if it's man, you got to keep going. If it's zone, you got to sit down. He slowed down. Brady threw it as he's supposed to keep speeding up. And that miscommunication made me say, whoa, if they can't clean that up right now, they got no shot.
Yeah, no, I think my point with Tom and the Buccaneers is, yes, I think they can still go on their Super Bowl run. One, because that offensive line, the offensive line that's the best unit in the NFC.
That changes things. That takes away from that offensive line. Because now you're going to have to hold on to that ball a little longer with some of these guys that come.
That offensive line is the best unit in football. It is. Tom helps them play better, but they also are dominant. I mean, Jensen's phenomenal. Wirfs is an all-pro. Marpet's an all-pro.
Then why can't I see them do what San Fran do and just say, I'm going to run you to dead?
Because I'm
going to run you to dead. I see San Fran do
because
that.
That's not who they are. Now, when they need to be it with Fournette, when Leonard Fournette comes back healthy, but that's not who they are. I would say this because a lot of people are just Tom still has 2 gold jackets throwing the football to. Like Rob Gronkowski and Mike Evans are 2 gold jackets. And they've kind of simplified stuff. We're saying we trust our offensive line. I'm putting Mike over there. Mike one-on-one, go win. Gronk worked the middle of the field. If Wirfs is healthy, I'd also say this, one last point. The fact that San Francisco is the matchup versus Green Bay gives them a huge advantage.
Right.
That is not a good matchup for Green Bay.
Green Bay. It's not. I take that too.
I agree with you.
If they're healthy.
I agree with you as well. I agree with you as well.
Yeah.
I agree with you as well, but Aaron Rodgers will find a way. Let me say a couple of things about Tom Brady. Number one, the man brought Antonio Brown into his house with his wife and his children.
Right.
Somebody betrays you when you do something like that for them, you're done. Just done, number one. But number two, you say it's hard to bet against Tom Brady because he's done it all. Well, I will remind you, from 2004 to 2014, he didn't win Super Bowl at all.
That's 7 years ago. 8 years ago.
And I will also remind you that he left New England because he didn't have the weapons necessary in order to get it done. And so when you talk about injuries on the offensive line, when we talk about the absence of Antonio Brown, when we talk about the injury to Chris Godwin, those are plausible reasons as to why Tampa might not win this year. It doesn't take anything away from Tom Brady and his greatness.
You can't bet against
those
that
are
guy.
those are possibilities that could.
We got to leave it there. They play the winner of tonight's playoff game. That's right here on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus. Dan, your boy, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray. Who you got before we go to break? Who's winning?
But I have no response to that. But like I said, everybody in this world is entitled to their opinion, and that's that.
Stephen A., what do you make of your boy, the Magic Man, calling out the Lakers?
Well, I think he's absolutely right. And I think that Russell Westbrook was very, very wise in his response because the last person in the world who wants to challenge Irvin Magic Johnson is a point guard, any point guard that's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. You don't want to challenge Irvin Magic Johnson. You want to be quiet and just defer. At the end of the day, here's the reality. Lakers going to have to make a change. Now, whether it's a trade or whatever, or the changing of the coach, where I hold Frank Vogel accountable, and I'm not calling for him to be fired, please don't get me wrong, because I'm very fond of Frank Vogel. But where I am holding him accountable is you're the 27th ranked defense, giving up 113 points a game. You have a head coaching job because your defensive prowess as a head coach. The fact that this team is so abysmal defensively and there's such flagrant levels of lacking energy, such lethargy, is an embarrassment. That is intolerable. And let me tell you, and I think I've proven this on many occasions, that I know Magic Johnson. I don't know why people, I mean, I don't have to talk. I've known the man for a quarter century. Personally, that's my brother. I'm telling you what I know. Magic didn't just say that for no reason. You notice how he added Jeannie Buss? You deserve better. That's code to Jeannie Buss. You deserve better, and you're not getting better. So you need to make a move so you will get better. That is why Magic Johnson, that is code for Magic Johnson telling Jeannie Buss, make a change.
We got to leave it there.
Change is coming.
Lakers play the Jazz tonight. Obviously.
Listen to a lot of different things or whatever, even though you know how it can affect people differently.
you're assuming that you're going to have a fever, might have a cough, going to have that massive headache, but you'll get over it.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, that was the case. In my case, it was totally different. I had 103-degree fever every night, woke up with chills and pool of sweat, headaches were massive, coughing profusely, and it got to a point that right before New Year's Eve, I was in the hospital New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. That's how I brought in the new year. And they told me, had I not been vaccinated, I wouldn't be here. That's how bad I was. I had pneumonia in both lungs. My liver was bad, and it ravaged me to the point where even now I have to monitor my volume. Got to get in the gym every day, walk before you run, and work your way back because I'm still not 100% with my lungs, but I'm COVID negative and all of that stuff, and I'm on the road to recovery. But if it wasn't for several doctors like Dr. Booth, Dr. Spivak, Dr. Charno, and others, I wouldn't be here. And so my love and respect for the job that they did, love and respect for people in the sports community, NBA, NFL, and beyond, players, coaches, executives, commissioners, for crying out loud, calling and checking on me and all of this stuff, especially the executives here at ESPN, checking on me every single day. Dave Roberts, Norby Williamson, Jimmy Pitaro, can't thank y'all for enough. But I wanted to take a moment to say to folks out there that, A, the vaccine, according to them, saved me. Now, everybody's different because my sister smokes and she had COVID and she was fine in 4 days. Me, I don't smoke, and it almost took me out. But I think the one thing to emphasize the importance of, no matter how you feel and what your feelings are about the vaccine, that mask is important. And the reason why the mask is so important is because you don't know how the next person is affected. How I'm affected is different than how you were affected, is different than how you were affected. So yeah, you could sit up there and be averse to the vaccine or whatever, and I'm not trying to get into all of that, encourage or discourage anybody from anything. I'm just telling you my story. But the one thing that I did peel from this above all else is that mask is pivotal because you don't know how you might affect the person sitting next to you. And it's about other people, not just yourself, when we're talking about this global pandemic. So I just want people to at least think about your fellow man and woman, not just yourself when it comes to this. And that's the only message that I wanted to say. Other than that, I'm ecstatic to be back. I've missed being at work. I've used more sick days in the last month than I've used in my 28-year career in this business combined. I don't take many sick days, but I had to do it this month just to survive. And I can't tell you how lucky and sincerely blessed I am to be sitting here with you guys today, because 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I didn't know if I was going to make it. And that's all I want to say.
Praise God, you're here, buddy.
Thank God, yes, exactly. Thank God, and thank you for sharing that testimony there as well. But guess what, Stephen A., when life hits, you hit back harder. We got this. Time for a fresh hour of First Take, everybody. It was championship or bust for the Cowboys. Michael, the bust won after a botched last-minute play left the team in total disarray. The playmaker and Stephen A. have a lot to get off their chest, and Bill versus the Bills wasn't the showdown we expected. Buffalo blew out the Pats as Bill Belichick's dominance come to an end. All that and more coming up on First Take. But first, how about them Cowboys?
I want everybody out there, Cowboys Nation, I want you to know. I want you to know. Go get your Super Bowl.
Oh, God.
Go get your Super Bowl tickets. Get them early. I'm trying to help you out right now because I know what it takes to win Super Bowls. I know what it takes to win championships. And I on every level, I have won championships. And there are certain things woven through those teams that I see now in the Dallas Cowboys. I know this because I have built this in many teams as we have gone through a season. Y'all go get y'all Super Bowl tickets. Get them early right now. Ain't nothing can stop this train.
Michael, you know what, Michael? I didn't didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you this. You're best dressed today.
Even though it's
so you're
hurting
winning there. The
me.
suit's
well,
great.
okay.
The whole
I appreciate it. Even though I hate that laugh, I'm glad it's here today, still with us and giving it to us. But
Well, I forgot two doctors, Dennis Pullen and Dr. Matzinger in Virtual Hospital in South Jersey. I want to give them some love because they definitely helped me as well, because they know how important it was for me to be here today, to be able to laugh at you. And so I remember when they were helping to take care of me as well, I said, I need to get back to that man right there. You understand? So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned all the folks, everybody I could that helped me get, because see, I want to, and I want to thank the producers here too, because you see, this is the kind of stuff that touches my heart.
What?
The fact that they played that video, Mike, saying that nonsense, encouraging people to get their tickets. See, I didn't ask for that video, but my man Sam Tanucci and James Dunn, even though James Dunn get on my damn nerves because he acting like Georgia really won the title. I mean, Alabama down.
You hear it,
the
go
two
Dogs.
receivers. I mean, they just down. You know what I'm saying?
Lamb's favorite
Williams.
son right there.
I mean, it's all right, though. Georgia, congratulations. But James Dunn, to get the video together, to show the hypocrisy, the ignorance, the stupidity of you supporting your Dallas Cowboys the way that you did. I love
that moment.
I love like Jekyll and Hyde
It's so beautiful. Had everybody with them. It's just,
hold on. I'm not trying to have Dallas Cowboys fans with me. You know what? Can I say this?
What?
You know what I really regret?
What?
You know when the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Rams a few years ago in the playoffs? I was at the JW Marriott downtown, literally standing at the front door in the lobby waiting for Cowboy fans. Don't you want to take a picture? Don't you want to sit here with me? And I wish I was in Dallas yesterday where, did you see all of those fans crying? Did you see them? The ladies were crying, dudes were crying. Did you see? And
you couldn't have really been happy seeing that. You can't genuinely.
Molly.
Wow, Dak Prescott, I feel so bad for the guy.
Molly, from my soul.
Oh.
I was so happy. Look at them.
Greatest fans in the world. The greatest fans in the world.
Hail Marys are Father, Son, the
Where's the last guy? Where's the dude that was crying at the end?
They deserve better. Y'all deserve better.
Show them all. Hold on, let's take a moment, y'all. Let's take a moment. Let's watch this. There he is. There he is. Oh, this is beautiful. I mean, that's how I want Cowboy fans to look. Look at them. Look at that. I mean, it's beautiful. This is beautiful. Let me tell you something right now. They deserve it, man. They deserve it. You know it. I know it. Yes, they do not.
I can't. They do not. They're the best fans in the world, man.
I will tell you, they're delusional.
It hurts me right now,
but I will tell you this. I will tell you this.
Felt that, man.
Something happened yesterday. That's breaking news. That's breaking news. Do you know last night was the first night in my life that the Dallas Cowboys lost? Their season was over, and I didn't hear one Cowboy fan say, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? I didn't hear that yesterday. It was the first time. So maybe the delusional element of Cowboy fans has dissipated or evaporated. But let me tell you something right now. Could y'all do me a favor, please? Because Stephen A's back. Stephen A's back in the house. Could you please show just a little bit of montage of those fans again? I mean, can we get some music?
Stop.
Can we get some music?
Hold on. Michael, I'm talking to you. You know why it really was sad is I really felt like this was their time. Like, this was the moment.
Play that music louder.
With this talent.
Louder. Turn up the volume of the music.
Oh, my God. This hurts me. These are the best fans in the world right here, man.
Look at them.
Oh, my God, man. I can't believe y'all putting this up, man. I can't believe y'all ain't playing this. This was not part of the show. This was not part of the show. He hijacked the show. This is not part of the show.
I actually had a question. Did Dallas move on from Mike McCarthy?
There is one of this middle-aged white dude that's leaning over the railing and he's crying. Where's that one at? I need to see it.
How do you remember?
It feels so good. I mean, where is it, y'all? Listen. All that happened. Listen, at the end of the day, Michael Irvin, all that happened was that.
Boy, that hurt for real, boy.
Listen, and keep showing that because I'm gonna keep asking that.
Stop playing that. Stop playing that. We have to keep playing that. Stop playing
Let me say
that.
this
Come
to you.
on.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
no one died. All that happened was the Cowboys showed you who they truly are. Again, that's all that happened. All that happened was that they brought you back to reality. To reality. I mean, that's all that happened. So when you go out to California, you do your NFL Network show, great show, by the way, and y'all, especially when y'all outside in that field, I want you to run those routes and show them how
You
to
guys
catch
have
the
a
ball.
nice
Yes,
setup.
I want you to show. Do you know that Rich Eisen made more catches on that outside football field than CeeDee Lamb did yesterday? You just can't make it up. I mean,
This is your day.
I mean, Rich Eisen.
This is your day.
Rich Eisen. I mean,
This is your day.
I watch my boys because I love Mariucci and Kurt Warner. I love them too. Did you see them yesterday?
I was watching. I watched Countdown as well. I flipped back and forth.
because I flip back and forth, right,
Yeah.
too, right? So I'm watching and I tweet.
Yeah.
And they play the tweet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about let Michael Irvin bluster all he wants to. He nervous as hell. He know what's coming, right? He know what's coming, right? And he tried to deny it and tried to blame the SA syndrome and all of that stuff.
All of that was
syndrome,
real.
Right? Kurt Warner and Mariucci went like this. And I've never seen them do this before. They went like this. He might have a point. he might have a point. I mean, that's going to be a tough one for the Cowboys. And they tried to be as diplomatic and it's nice because there's such great. See, we had Kurt Warner on here.
Yeah.
Mariucci is very few people.
Coach.
Mariucci's a great guy.
Great
Kurt Warner's a great guy.
Great people.
And what they did
are.
was they had compassion
Yeah.
because they knew what was coming. They knew what was coming. But guess what? I won't. I have no compassion.
I had Joker.
Michael, real quick,
Man, listen,
real
man.
quick, before we go
First
break.
of all,
Extra
that fan base does not deserve
Yes,
this.
they do.
They do
Yes,
not
they
deserve
do.
that.
Yes,
So
they do.
listen to what you're saying. You're saying because they are great fans and love their team that they deserve
No,
praise.
because they're delusional.
Listen,
They're
that
delusional
hurt me
and
to
they're
the
annoying.
core.
Time out,
I was
time out.
getting emotional watching that.
But
That
Michael-
hurt me to the core for real.
Show it again.
For
Show
real,
it
that
again.
hurt me.
Show it again.
Seeing those
Show it
people, seeing those
again.
fans like that,
Come
man.
on, y'all.
Oh my God,
Come on,
I
y'all
wish I could
producers.
fix
Come
this
on,
for
just
you.
show it
That
again.
hurts me to the core, man. Oh my God, man. Oh my God, man. Those are great people.
It's beautiful. This is beautiful, man. I mean,
You're gonna hijack the show with this,
They in the
man.
house. That's what I'm talking about. Look at her. And look at the sister right there. That's my favorite one right there. She look at the y'all ain't worth a damn. That's what that look is. That's what that look is right there. Leave it to the sister to be real, right? You see that? Oh, she's showing with the blue wig on. Look at this brother right here.
These
This
jokers
is
out of
beautiful,
here.
man.
I'm done. I'm
This
done.
beautiful.
Go to break.
This is beautiful.
Producers,
Why?
Sam, let's
That
go to
should
break.
be our break.
deal with
That
these
should be our
jokers,
commercial.
man.
It's beautiful. This is a beautiful touching day. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Molly,
Oh,
Molly, what is going on here,
I
Molly?
can't.
it's beautiful.
I can't.
Don't y'all love
I
it?
can't.
Don't y'all love
I
it?
can't.
What's the
I think there's a
problem?
reason I'm in this position. Like, honestly.
Do you see him crying?
Because my kind heart.
Those are real
To
tears.
make up for your black soul.
Those were real
Still
tears.
ahead, coming up on.
A bad night. We'll see when we start playing again next year, I guess.
I need to know this quickly. Is Bill Belichick emotional in real life? Does anyone know that?
Can I say this
Oh,
to you?
God, no.
Can I say this real
No?
quickly to you? I really like Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I've met Bill Belichick at Boston Celtics games. Completely different personality.
Yeah.
Approachable, kind, personable.
That's why I asked,
He's,
yeah.
he's listen, when he's at work, he's all business.
Yeah.
But I don't find, I actually enjoy when I meet
No,
Bill
that's
Belichick.
good
I've
to
only
hear.
met him on
I
2 or
was
3
curious if
occasions.
that was just
I've only
business
met him
flow,
on 2 or 3
You can
occasions, but
appreciate people
I
that
thoroughly
strive for
enjoy
greatness.
it. I really do. I like Bill Belichick.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can appreciate people that to strive for greatness.
Yeah.
That's
Of
what
course,
he is.
and it works. He's all focused, all business. All right, he's one of the best ever. But Stephen A., has Belichick won his last Super Bowl?
I'm afraid I believe so. Let me say this. I believe that Bill Belichick is the greatest coach probably in the history of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just respect him, I revere him. And I think that he did an outstanding job this year. And to see his team thoroughly outplayed like that Saturday was disappointing, but make no mistake, they lost to a better team. You want to hold something against Bill Belichick, what you hold against him is his decisions as an executive, you know, in terms of drafting wide receivers and stuff like that. But here's the ultimate indictment against Bill Belichick. Tom Brady is doing what he did. And because of your greatness, you didn't want to look at this dude's greatness and say, you know what, let's ride this wave and let me listen to this dude that I tutored. You see, because that's the unforgivable sin in all of this. Molly, if you're a boss and Michael Irvin works for you and you nurture him and he grows under your tutelage, his success is your success. Why be threatened by that? Why want to sever those ties? They're an extension of you. Bill Belichick, in the end, didn't look at Tom Brady like that. And so when Tom Brady goes elsewhere at age 44 right now and still doing what he's done, it's been phenomenal. But ultimately, why I feel the way that I feel about Bill Belichick and the Patriots not winning is because look at your conference. Patrick Mahomes ain't leaving Kansas City. Josh Allen ain't leaving Buffalo. Mike Vrabel ain't leaving Tennessee. Justin Herbert ain't leaving the Los Angeles Chargers. And by the way, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase ain't leaving
He should just do
Cincinnati.
the right thing and come back to New York.
So
and coach the
I'm just saying, when I look at the AFC, and then I look at Mac Jones, who I genuinely like and think has a lot of promise, I'm just looking at what I'm seeing around the rest of the conference, and I'm like, Mac Jones, as good as he can be, he ain't those dudes that I mentioned. It's too many in front of him, and I think that's the difference.
And if we had taken Tom Brady and looked at Tom Brady early on, we would say he's not going to be Peyton Manning and all of those other guys that were throwing the ball all over the field. I don't know how we're even asking this question after the season Bill Belichick just put on. After 1 year away, Bill Belichick has his team right back in it with the rookie quarterback who we can all clearly see is going to be very good in this league moving forward. He fits perfectly for what that you say Tom has to worry about. They have to worry, or that you had said Bill has to worry about. Excuse me. They have to worry about Bill. Bill had the #1 scoring defense this year. The #1 scoring defense. When he gets this young man up to speed, and I do admit this, he has to get him some more outside help. He has to get him some more outside help because those teams you're talking about now, they're explosive. They're scoring. This is why Tom Brady said we can't do it this way. I need more outside help. That's why I went and picked the team that had 3 #1 wide receivers on them over the New England Patriots. So they will get more outside. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bill Belichick will be back in the race and have his team right back at another opportunity to get back in a Super Bowl. No doubt in my mind.
I'm with you. I can't ever count out Tom.
I don't know how you can count them out after the year they had, going 10-7. And at one point, they were first in the division, had a chance at first in the conference.
Steven's basing it on the AFC, so I get that too. All right, we'll leave it
Sure,
there,
you
guys.
wish he was the coach of the Cowboys.
Have taught them the rules. What's going on, RC? Good to see you, sir.
Still
yes,
going?
he's got the Cuban. Oh yeah.
Oh, my.
Are you kidding? This is gonna last a good solid month.
Better rough one, RC.
Yeah.
Better rough one.
It's
Playmaker.
been real.
Playmaker, for it to be for Stephen A's first day back
I know.
to be when the Cowboys lose in the playoffs, I'm telling you what, man, if that's not TV justice, I do not know what is, man. Welcome back, brother.
I appreciate you, Brian. I appreciate you, RC, and thank you for doing the great job that you was doing while I was out, man. You were phenomenal, man. I really appreciate
No doubt, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, him and Dan held it down
him
for
and Dan
sure.
a lot.
Yeah, they did a
They
great
should have
job.
their own show.
All right, let's get to Mike McCarthy though, fellas. Obviously, he's under a lot of fire right now. Dan, I'll start with you. Do they need to move on from their head coach, the Cowboys?
You know, it's so hard to say a man should lose his job. I mean, Irv knows this, Stephen A knows this. It's hard to sit here and call for a coach's job, but Mike McCarthy has shown this ineptitude his entire tenure to play over the San Francisco 49ers, but because you don't take care of business, right, because you're unprepared, because you lose, you're now playing a team that's one of the hottest teams in football, one of the most difficult matchups in football, and you lose at home. You got a $140 million quarterback. You got a $100 million wide receiver. You got a $100 million tackle. You got a $90 million running back, and you score 17 points in a home playoff game. That's a problem. You're an offensive coach. You're a coach that's supposed to be able to delegate. You're a coach that's supposed to be able to prepare. You're a coach that has failed the entire year in situational football and clock management. And that's the way you lose. I've said it on this show before. Mike McCarthy's the worst coach on the team. Mike McCarthy was going to cost them a game, and he did both of those things. If Jerry Jones wants to win, while he could still be here to see it, Mike McCarthy can't be the coach. And whether it's Dan Quinn, whether it's Kellen Moore, wherever you want to move, it has to be on from him.
Go ahead,
and that has something to do with it, what we're talking about, wherever you want to move on to. When I start talking about, do you get rid of Mike McCarthy? You know, all of those things, all the bad decisions Mike McCarthy, and I call them bad decisions, not mistakes. Those are bad decisions. You should have been prepared for them. Going down the stretch and all those missing timeouts, not having a timeout to challenge that fumble that was a fumble. You can't defend that. You cannot defend it. So when we start talking about, I look at what do you have coming if you do get rid of Mike McCarthy. Do you get a Sean Payton? Then I say, yeah, you get rid of Mike McCarthy. You get a Bill Belichick? I say you get rid of Mike McCarthy. But if you're not getting one of those guys, I mean, you put a lot of what goes on in offense on Mike McCarthy. I put that on Kellen Moore. We're singing the praise of Kellen Moore. We're ready to make him a head coach right now. He's running that offense, not Mike McCarthy. He's running that offense, an offense that just did not show up. You mentioned all those $100 million players did not show up. Yes, that's somewhat on Mike McCarthy because his job is to motivate, not just make decisions, design. His job is also to dig down inside each one of those guys and bring out the best, and he's not doing that. But I don't know, where do you go? If you don't get me somebody like a Sean Payton, I know where you go. Get me somebody like a Bill Belichick, then I'm not willing to make a change right now.
I know where to go. I know where to go. But before I go to answering this question, let's go to the videotape. Can I get that, please? Can I get that?
Oh, don't start,
man. Can I get a video?
Can we do that? Come on, man. Can we talk about football here, man?
This is football. This football. That's at the Cowboys.
He was the saddest one, though. He hurt me.
That's the one I was looking for right there. That's the one I was looking for. I was waiting for that. We didn't have that in the montage. That's the one right there. That one right there.
I never cried when my team lost the game.
Hey, you remember Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours when he said, that's right there. That's the Iceman. That's him right there. That's that guy. That's the photo. That's the video.
Bro, you're dead wrong. You're so wrong. You're dead wrong, dog.
Now let me get to answer this question, right? I know where to go.
I don't even remember the question now.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Molly. I got you. Here's the deal, y'all.
Too much energy.
Let me tell you why Mike McCarthy, and again, we take no pleasure in anybody losing their job. We want him to get the check, feed his family, the whole bit. Let me tell you the number one reason why Mike McCarthy needs to go. Because most instances, when something goes wrong with the Cowboys, we don't even know if he's responsible. What does he do? We know Belichick's responsible. We know Tomlin's responsible. We know Sean Payton's responsible. We know Andy Reid's responsible. Hell, we know Ron Rivera's responsible. But every time something go on with the Cowboys, is it Kellen Moore? Is it Mike McCarthy? Is the player? Is it Jerry Jones, Stevens, Jerry Jr.? Who the hell is it? We don't know. So guess what? If you don't know, that means you don't have a leader. And if you don't have a leader, what you missing? It's very simple. You all blustering. Let me finish. Mike McCarthy, I'm saying if Mike McCarthy leaves, what difference does it make? Now, I agree with you. Kellen Moore got interviewed by Jacksonville. He's supposed to be getting interviewed by Chicago, Minnesota. Even though they had the #1 offense in points and yards, I'm not impressed with what I've seen from Kellen Moore over the last 8 weeks. Dominique Foxworth was absolutely right saying that this morning. I haven't been impressed with what I've seen from Kellen Moore the second half of this season. And by the way, nobody brought up that his ego, Ryan, might have gotten in the way because why are you calling a quarterback sneak with 14 seconds left? You know why? Because you wanted to be impressive, as opposed to having your mind on winning the game. I'll tell you where they need to go, Michael Irvin. How about giving Dan Quinn the job?
Yeah, I agree
with the
with
job
that.
that he's done on that defense.
I agree
The
with
job that he's done on that defense. And leave Kellen Moore there. How about giving Dan Quinn the head coaching job? He took him to a Super Bowl. Now he blew it. But Kyle Shanahan was there too when they blew a 28-3 lead against New England in the Super Bowl. But Quinn took you to a Super Bowl. Why not give him the head coaching job?
Listen, man, first of all, when you talk about Dan Quinn took him to a Super Bowl right now, but he got fired last year. So wait, I know, but hold on. He didn't get fired for no reason, so don't act like you're putting somebody that's pristine in front of me.
No.
Why don't you take him? He's pristine.
That's
why I gave you pristine. I gave you Belichick or Sean Payton.
Well, you can't get them.
I understand.
You can't get them.
Then don't ask me to run to somebody else that you think that just messed up last year, messed up his job.
So what?
I'm
still better than McCarthy.
Let me tell you the one thing also that matters in these situations, and we're seeing it around.
And by the way, you don't get to raise your voice today. You don't get to raise your voice today. You better be a bit demure and calm down. After the Cowboys stuck them, you better calm down.
Okay.
You better calm down. Y'all lost. Calm down. Speaking of moderate tone.
Just because they lost, I can't raise my voice.
No, you can't. Not today. Not today. You need to be timid. You need to be timid. You need to be timid. You okay? Go ahead. You know I'm right, RC. You know I'm right, RC. He better not talk with a blovian sticking out your chest. This is one day. You better pipe down.
Let me tell you the one thing that also matters in this day and age that we're seeing all around the National Football League. That little fake love we got Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. I don't know what kind of love they got over there in Green Bay. It matters how much the quarterback and the head coach and all the coordinators gets along now. And Dak happens to love Kellen Moore. And Dak happens to love Mike McCarthy. That I just want to put out there because obviously that matters in this league.
Playmaker. Dak loves everybody.
Yes.
Dak is one of the most unproblematic people that has ever walked the face of the earth and worn a uniform. Dak don't beef with nobody. If Dan Quinn becomes the head coach, guess who else Dak gonna like? Dan Quinn.
That's right.
Because Dak likes everybody. The bottom line.
When that happens, I'll see it. But right now, I'm giving you facts. You're telling me possibilities.
You ain't giving us no facts?
I am giving you facts. I talked to Dak. I know how
Ryan Clark just gave us facts.
He's giving me possibilities.
Ryan Clark just gave us facts.
There's a possibility
Michael Irvin
that
doesn't
still have
like
the
your
same relationship.
suggestion. He's not co-signing your suggestion right now, and that's really what it is.
Right. I'm just saying, I'm not ready to just say, let's move on.
Molly, you know why, Molly?
Hey, Ryan
Because
Clark,
if he's
Ryan
not
Clark.
fired, Michael Irvin still has to go to that building.
That's right.
And Stephen A. and I don't.
Ryan
And so
Clark.
Michael Irvin just wants to make sure that the playmaker, the Hall of Famer.
No, I'm answering this. I'm answering this. I'm the man on the walls with all the Super Bowl rings in Dallas, so I don't want to hear nothing. Mike McCarthy don't run Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin runs Michael Irvin. Ain't nothing he can do. I've already put my foot in, laid my foot and left my footprint in the sand just to make sure you know that.
That's right.
Now let's get back to talking about football.
You lost credibility, Mr. Cheerleader.
I lose credibility.
Because you were a cheerleader. You turned into a cheerleader.
I'll get on out of here with that, man. I don't want to hear that, man. Ain't no holding me up.
Let me tell you right now. A cockroach can walk into the Dallas Cowboys facility and Dak Prescott will give him some food. That's how pathetic Dak Prescott is when it comes to anything Dallas. He ain't saying nothing bad about nobody.
Why is that pathetic?
I don't get that either. I don't get that one either.
A roach could be in the Dallas Cowboys facility, and Dak Prescott would not even call an exterminator. He'll sit up there and say, he ain't bothering nobody, leave him alone, just because he's on the facility. It's pathetic. Just stop it.
Stop,
please.
He's a good man.
That's what you're
He lost. He lost.
Stephen A. tell you he respects
That matters
you.
now.
He could be more like
The relationship
ahead.
between quarterback and head
We got to
coach
talk about
matters.
Ryan's team and your team, your real team.
Show that video. Videotape.
No, I know.
Don't do that.
I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers,
That's what
Stephen A.
we're
You need a
talking about,
quarterback.
Yeah, they do badly.
Yeah, well, we got to talk about that.
They do.
We're debating that subject.
Let's
All
dive
things
into these
Pittsburgh
Steelers.
next. Talk about a team that does have a coach.